The caregiver sang softly to the old man, unaware his millionaire son was watching and changed her life. "Room 208, Mr. Raymond. Do not expect a response," the nurse said without looking up. "Hasn't spoken in months. His vitals are stable, but he's just not there anymore." Judy nodded quietly and tightened her cardigan around her shoulders. The hospital hallway smelled of disinfectant and rain, sharp, cold, and faintly metallic. Thunder rumbled outside as she pushed open the door to the dimly lit room. Inside, the air felt heavier. Mr. Raymond lay motionless in the bed near the window, his face turned slightly to the side. He was an older man, late 70s, maybe early 80s, with thick silver hair and deep lines that etched down from his temples to his chin. His eyes were open, dull, staring at nothing. Not the ceiling, not her, not the rain streaking down the window. Just emptiness. Judy stood still for a moment. She was 24, blonde, and barely over 5 feet tall. Her life was a far cry from sterile hospital rooms and silent patients. Less than 2 years ago, she had been singing in smoky lounges and jazz bars, her voice carrying over clinking glasses and murmured conversations. Now she worked night shifts as a caregiver, her music packed away like a childhood toy she no longer had time to play with. She stepped to the side of the bed and reached out gently, resting her hand over Mr. Raymond's. His skin was cold. "You probably can't hear me," she whispered, her voice trembling, "but I used to sing once. My dad said it helped people feel less lonely." She paused, her eyes scanning his unmoving face. The monitors beeped steadily behind her, unbothered. Without thinking, she sat down on a chair beside the bed, leaned slightly forward, and after a deep breath, began to sing. "Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking." Her voice was soft, wobbly, but warm. The words floated gently into the stillness, filling the corners of the room. She kept singing, her voice growing steadier with every note, even as tears stung the corners of her eyes. Outside the room, someone paused. Logan Raymond, mid-30s, stood frozen just beyond the doorway. He had returned to the hospital after hours, under the radar as always. The staff knew who he was, wealthy, powerful, untouchable, the son of the great Henry Raymond. But they also knew not to expect warmth from him. Logan kept his distance. He paid the bills, signed the authorizations, and avoided the rest. He had not intended to come this late. He only stopped by to drop off paperwork, maybe peek in for a moment as he sometimes did, never long, never inside. But this night something stopped him in his tracks. A voice, not loud, not showy, but achingly beautiful in its rawness. He edged closer just enough to peer through the narrow slit between door and frame. His eyes found her, a girl with hair the color of summer wheat, singing to his unconscious father like he mattered, like he was still here, still someone worth singing to. Logan swallowed hard. His father had been a musician once, a violinist of quiet fame and uncompromising discipline. Their home had always been filled with sound, but not always warmth. After his mother died, Logan and his father had drifted into separate orbits, mutual silence becoming their unspoken agreement. Now this girl, a stranger, was doing what Logan never dared, reaching him. Judy continued the song, unaware of the man watching her from the hall. "You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile." She let the last note linger, eyes closed, then slowly exhaled. Silence returned, deeper somehow, after the song ended. She looked down at Mr. Raymond's face. Nothing. Still empty, still silent. She gently squeezed his hand, offered him a small smile of her own, and stood. Outside, Logan stepped back, blending into the shadows, just as the door opened. Judy didn't see him as she turned down the corridor, her shoes whispering over the tile floor. He stood there for another minute before finally entering the room. His father hadn't moved, not a blink, not a breath out of place, and yet the air felt different, warmer, lighter. Logan sat in the same chair Judy had just left, and stared at the man he'd spent most of his life misunderstanding. "I don't know who she is," he murmured, "but she saw something in you I stopped trying to see a long time ago." The rain tapped softly on the windows, as if keeping rhythm with a song that hadn't truly ended, and for the first time in years, Logan stayed. Before hospital rooms and late-night shifts, Judy had lived for music. At 21, her voice had become a familiar sound in the jazz lounges tucked into forgotten corners of the city. She sang with a warmth that lingered in the air long after the final note, a voice that could hush a room without effort. Her regular spot was a dimly lit club called Velvet Moon, where regulars would arrive early just to sit closer to the stage. She never sought fame. Judy only wanted to sing songs that meant something, and for a while, that was enough. Then came Darren. He was charming, older, and knew the business, or so he said. He became her manager, her boyfriend, her everything. He promised her bookings, demo recordings, a future. She believed him, until the night he disappeared. She came home to an empty apartment. No suitcase, no note, just her bank account wiped clean and her guitar missing. Everything she had saved, gone. Her world collapsed in silence. No more music, no more stage, just questions and rent overdue. She vanished from the scene like a melody left unresolved. Caregiving was never the plan. It started as a desperate attempt to survive. A neighbor worked at a staffing agency and found her a temp job in a hospice wing. 1 week turned into 2, then months. She didn't talk about her past, and no one asked. In her scrubs and ponytail, she was just another quiet girl doing the hard work no one else wanted. She never sang. Until Mr. Raymond. Something about the way he lay there, silent and alone, reminded her of her father. He had passed away in a hospital room just like this one. Fluorescent lights, antiseptic smells, and the steady beep of a heart monitor. She had not made it in time to say goodbye. That memory never left her. So when she saw Mr. Raymond for the first time, something stirred inside her. He looked so distant, so far from here, like someone drifting out to sea. And without thinking, she sang, "Smile, though your heart is aching." It was not a performance. It was not rehearsed. Her voice was soft, uncertain, but each note pulled something deeper from her soul. Not for applause, not for approval, just for him. She sang as if reaching across a dark, silent void, hoping that, wherever he was, he might hear her. When the song ended, she didn't expect a reaction, and she got none. But for the first time in years, she felt like her voice mattered again. She returned to her rounds, quieter than before, but with a strange lightness in her chest. She couldn't explain it, just that somehow she had sung not to be heard, but to be present, to offer something beautiful into a space that had forgotten beauty. And that was enough. What Judy did not know was that someone else had heard it, someone who had not only listened, but would never forget. Logan Raymond was 33, and on paper, he had everything. He had everything: CEO of a rapidly growing tech firm, a penthouse overlooking the skyline, tailored suits, and a calendar booked months in advance. He was the kind of man who spoke in bullet points, closed deals with a handshake, and never cried, not even at his mother's funeral. He had built walls so high, even he forgot what he was trying to keep out. Growing up, Logan's world had been filled with music, but not warmth. His father, Henry Raymond, was a celebrated violinist who toured across continents. While other kids went to soccer practice with their dads, Logan sat alone at home with sheet music and unanswered questions. His mother had tried to bridge the gap. She sang to him, taught him to hum lullabies his father once composed, and whispered, "He loves you, just doesn't know how to show it." But when she died suddenly from a stroke, Logan was only 12, and whatever thread connected father and son snapped clean. Henry returned from a European tour 2 days late for the funeral. Logan never forgave him. As the years passed, they spoke less and less, until silence became the only thing they shared. When Henry collapsed from a stroke nearly a year ago, Logan handled everything: the private hospital, the paperwork, the high-end care facility. But he never stepped inside the room, not once. He told himself it was because there was nothing left to say. But then, that night, as he passed by room 208, he heard her. That voice. He did not know the girl, just caught a glimpse of blonde hair and soft features through the cracked door. But her voice, it sliced through him. Not because it was beautiful, but because it was familiar. She was singing "Smile," his mother's favorite song. The one she used to hum when Logan couldn't sleep. The one Henry used to play on the violin. Just once, years ago, the night before his final tour. Logan had not heard that song in over 2 decades. But now, hearing it in the dark, sung with such quiet care to a man who had not spoken in months, something broke loose in him. He stayed in the hallway long after the song ended, staring at the door he had avoided for nearly a year. That night, he could not sleep. The next evening he returned. Still did not go in, but he stood there again, hands in his coat pockets, listening as the girl, Judy, he would later learn, sang softly, unaware of her audience. And for the first time in 10 years, Logan allowed himself to feel grief, guilt, and the smallest spark of something he had buried long ago, the hope that maybe not everything between him and his father was lost. The following night, he brought a chair from down the hall and sat outside the door. He did not say a word. He just listened, to the voice, to the silence, to his own heartbeat. And when Judy sang "Smile" again, Logan closed his eyes. He could almost hear the